I will now do Newton's second using components problems, number 2. And in this problem, it says Justin, who has a mass of 50 kilograms, so the mass is equal to 50.0 kilograms, is at a dentist office having his teeth cleaned, as shown in the following figure. And in the following figure, it shows a person sitting in a chair, and the angle of the chair is theta with respect to the horizontal. It says that the component of his weight perpendicular to the plane. So the weight, F sub g perpendicular to the plane, is 449 newtons. It says, what is the angle that the chair is tilted? So our theta, we don't know. Now when you start this problem, the first thing you want to do is draw on your axes. These axes must be perpendicular to one another. And on here, we label them the parallel axis and the perpendicular axis. Now, gravity will always be straight down, no matter what the tilt is. And that is the weight of our person. Now, in order to do this problem, you have to recognize a few things. First of all, you have to take the components of gravity to see which one we're talking about. Remember, when we take components, we make our rectangle with respect to the axes, and we project them onto our axes. This component here is F sub g parallel. Our component along the perpendicular axis is F sub g perpendicular. Remember, we draw this axis so it's perpendicular to the inclined surface. Now, in order to solve this problem, we need to go ahead and realize that the angle with respect to the horizontal is also the angle with respect to F sub g to the perpendicular axis. So it will always be that way. We use similar triangles to prove that in class. So now, looking at this and using trig, notice that the angle, since it's between F sub g and F sub g perpendicular, our trig function using SOHCAHTOA will be that cosine of the angle is equal to the adjacent side, F sub g perpendicular, over the hypotenuse of the triangle that we're looking at, which is F sub g. So this leads us, hey, we need to calculate F sub g. To calculate F sub g is defined, that's the weight, is always mass times gravity. So for us here on Earth, F sub g is going to be whatever the mass is, which is 50.0 kilograms, times the acceleration due to gravity, 9.80 meters per second squared. And when you do this, you find that F sub g is going to be equal to 490 newtons. So now, going back to our cosine function, we now have cosine of the angle is going to be F sub g perpendicular, which is 449 newtons, divided by F sub g, our weight, which is 490 newtons. So in order to find an angle, we always use the inverse of a trig function. So inverse cosine of 449 newtons over 490 newtons. And this gives us an angle of 23.6 degrees.